Five of Swords is a future energy. King of Cups, there's you coming up as reverse. I always find it funny when we get reminded by the reading to be ourselves. And that's what the King of Cups is, Scorpio. I know we say, and the signs don't own the cards. I want to repeat that. Everyone always has a go at me, especially when the Empress. They always say that, why don't you say it's Taurus? Because it isn't. I mean, yes, it has Venus. It's Venus, right? And Venus rules Taurus. But in the sense of the King of Cups is you guys, is because the kings, for me anyway, are the fixed signs. So the water, which is Cups, fixed energy is Scorpio, and that's you guys. But that's big, right? When you get reminded to be yourself, reminded to be, we'll get to him at the end, but certain aspects of yourself, characteristics of yourself. I'll see what that is. I kind of feel like the question for you in July is, are you going to keep putting effort into this? You've already put a lot of effort into something. Now, the reason I say that is, all right, these two don't work well together. I'll say that straight out the gate. Why is that? Well, because the Three of Pentacles, it's where we work together, right? You can see all that they're working together to collect the flowers. It's compromise. It's doing things by committee. And that kind of sounds boring sometimes because you want to do things by yourself. It will sound boring to him for sure. But it doesn't have to be. It can make us resourceful. You know, you might have... the example I always give for the Three of Pentacles is, look at me. I'm single. I work by myself. It's just me that does my business. And I can do everything, but where am I needed the most? What part of my business can only I do? Which is the readings part, right? The personal clients. Only I can do that. No one else can do that. And so even where it's my business, I could work with the Three of Pentacles by asking someone else to do my website for me, or getting a virtual assistant to do my emails and stuff for me, right? That I don't need to do those parts. That makes me resourceful, so I can focus on what it is that I want to do. But by doing that, I actually build it stronger. So do you see what I mean with the Three of Pentacles? It's working together. Now, the compromise for me there would be that I would be giving up some of my... I'm a control freak. Reformed control freak, but it still comes up sometimes. Where, you know, I'd have to give up aspects of control around my business. So the Three of Pentacles is that. It's compromise. We don't always like that. But where it's come up here, and it's building it strong together. Now think about that. That could be your team at work. That could be your family. You know, you've all been working together to create, like to buy the house or to do something together. Or you might just be thinking about it. This doesn't have to be anything that's going on. It's the underlying energy, so the undercurrent is here. But they oppose each other. Where this is compromise and working together, I find the Knight of Wands very uncompromising. Like, it's not fun. He wants to do what's fun. So do we have a situation where people are trying to work together and someone's bored out of their nut? Is it you, Scorpio? Are you kind of done with the situation? The thing with the Knight of Wands is he is ready to go for it. That's his thing. You know, you give him an option and he'll run for it. He'll go for it. And I always like to compare him to the Knight of Pentacles. With the Knight of Pentacles, imagine all the knights were stood in front of me and I said, guys, right, we're going on a trip. Everyone show here at 6 a.m. tomorrow, right? This guy would be off. He wouldn't ask any questions. He would just go off, get his little case ready, backpack ready, and he'd be back. The Knight of Pentacles would want to know everything. Where are we going? How long will it be? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Do I need injections or something, vaccinations for the trip? Not the Knight of Wands. So he just goes for his immediate action. If it sounds good to him, if it sounds like something that would enhance his experience, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Adventurer, explorer, he wants to try new things. But how do you go for it? That's the kind of question that's coming up for me here. How do you go for it with these people? That you have to work with other people, and now you have to make sure that everyone's on the right page together, right? That all the same page, that everyone's working towards something. It doesn't work. So maybe that's the problem here. Maybe that's the problem, that someone isn't on board with what everyone else wants. That is an interesting underlying energy to come up. Really is. And so we have the Three of Pentacles there. Look at what the heart of the reading is. The Four of Pentacles. But yeah, I don't kind of get the sense that it's not that you don't want this. I don't think it's that. Or whatever it is that you're working towards. Like, you're bloody, if you're studying something, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff where you could, not the kind of just work. How can we do this for work or for relationships or whatever? If there's a relationship here and we get in the Three of Pentacles, Why is it done by committee? Why are we taking other people's needs into consideration? Now, I understand. I mean, I have family from have other cultural rules and stuff, and some of that's coming up here. You know, you might want to be in a relationship or get together or do something, and yet, you know, the other person's parents might not be on board, or the family might have a say in it. That does happen. That does happen just because it's not a thing full of Western people. It is in some parts of the world, so I understand that. But this might be too much, you know, where I just want to go for it, but everyone has to be on board. And so this is what you've done, Scorpio. Four of Pentacles coming up at the heart of this, which is like, I don't even know if I have anything left to give this situation. Now, it looks really nice here, the Four of Pentacles. She sat there, Four Pentacles around her neck, combing out her hair, right? She looks pretty happy there. But traditionally, the Four of Pentacles were the guys holding on to the Four Pentacles. He holds on to the Four Pentacles for dear life. Why? Because that's the little bit of security and stability that he has. He doesn't want to give it up. Doesn't want to give it up. And I am going to say this. I am getting a level of stubbornness here, even though that's usually the Emperor that you see. But I just know that if the Knight of Wands is not able to go on his adventure the way that he wants to, then he checks out. That's the kind of energy that's coming up here. I'm checked out. I'm bored by this. You won't just keep towing the line. And I don't know what that's around. It's very interesting. Seems like a very specific read. So this may just be for one or two people. I don't know. But with the Four of Pentacles, what it says is, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You have to risk the security or the stability to do something around this. To do something around this. And bloody hell, like with that coming up, he'd do it as well. He'd do it. He doesn't give a shit about risks. He doesn't think down the road. He doesn't think long term. He doesn't care about consequences. He's very much in the moment. We talk about mindfulness, right? And yeah, the kind of Knight of Wands comes across as unreliable because he just checks out when he's done with it. But, you know, there is a level of I'm in the moment. Am I enjoying this? Am I enjoying this? That's general, so it can go both ways. Maybe you're trying to build something and somebody else is just going off plan. You know, they're going off and doing whatever they want. But the Four of Pentacles is coming up as different in this spread than how I would normally read it. Normally, I would say, look, you need to come out of your comfort zone. I don't feel like this is coming out of your comfort zone. I don't feel that at all. I think you're ready to come out of your comfort zone. I think you're ready to go for it. It's the reason. It's the reason. You know, there's this kind of, especially as the underlying energy. The Knight of Wands is, he wants that adventure. And I think you want that adventure too. I'll come back to that in just a moment. Have a look at the Empress. She's coming up as a past energy. So that tells me you've put effort into this. You've been trying to grow something. You've been trying to expand something. This is abundance of all kinds. You know, and you were ready to give your time and energy. You have done it already. It's the foundation, right? You've done this. Let's grow this. Let's nurture this. There's a season for everything. I know to get the best out of it, I'm going to have to put my effort into it. And yet, I think it's, you know, it's going to go a couple of ways. Either you've done this and you haven't received the recognition for it that you deserve, or, because that can be a card of recognition as well. Or it can be, well, you know, oh my God, that's even worse. If somebody else got the recognition that didn't even put that much work in, because the Knight of Wands can be that. Can be that. But with the Empress coming up here, you've taken care of this, you've nurtured it, let's grow this. She's abundance of all kinds, right? Which is financial, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is that you've been trying to grow. I mean, think of it from a spiritual point of view. I'm trying to explain the energy because it's very specific how the energy is coming through, but how that will play out in your life, that's very much going to be, you know, based on your own individual circumstances. But think about that. Think about this is with your spirituality, and you've been trying to grow that by getting involved with communities and stuff, right? I bloody say communities because there isn't no such thing as just one spiritual community. And you've been trying to get, you know, find different people, talk to them and stuff. But now it's like, oh, well, I want to go and do this. And you get people saying, no, well, you don't do that. That's negative, or that's this. And we don't do that here. And, you know, that, and you're just checked out. I don't have anything left to give to this. You've reached, I mean, when the fours show up, nothing changes or nothing moves. And maybe that's what's making you get all adventurous and let's go try something else, because you're just sick of nothing moving. It's like, that's great. I've been trying to grow this. I've been putting effort into it. But why the hell is it not? Why is it stopped? Because with the Four of Pentacles, I guarantee you one thing: nothing is moving, nothing is shifting, nothing is changing, because this is playing it small. This is playing it safe. And I think, Scorpio, either you or someone that you're dealing with does not want to play it small, does not want to play it safe. So what's the advice? Oh, well, that's the advice. But in the present, there's an advice card too, and it asks you one question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Whatever you're planning, whatever direction you want to take this in, whatever you're thinking of going towards, because you have a good foundation at the very least. Something that is of value to you. Value. That Page of Pentacles, right? That value. Where do you see the value in this? And so with the Seven of Pentacles, it says, okay, you've put in effort into this, you put work into this, and you know what? She's pregnant. She's pregnant. So this, I mean, I'm not saying it's an actual baby. For someone it might be, but overall the energy is not of that. It's something that you give birth to, right? Something that you give birth to. But it feels like right at the last minute, like, you know, when all the effort's been put in, that they're both heavily pregnant here. This project's about to come to life. There's, you know, whatever in the relationship, something to do with your practical security, like that house you're about to buy, the marriage we're about to decide on, whatever it is that you're about to do. And there's a spanner in the works. That's the way the Knight of Wands is. A spanner in the works. And maybe someone's just not as committed as you once thought, and that's why you've put the brakes on this. But, you know, the Four of Pentacles doesn't have to be bad. Sometimes we want that security. We want that stability. And if you're in the process of bringing something, like, you know, something's about to be birthed, whatever the nature of that birth is, when you get to the Seven of Pentacles, it's saying, look at all the effort you put into this. And I know you've put a lot of effort into this. You may have had to work with people you don't want to. You've had to compromise with people that you might not have wanted to. You've done so much. You've been waiting for this to happen. And even them, they're waiting, right, for the baby to arrive. But they didn't just sit around. They've got the bassinet ready. They've got the little, you know, nursery ready for the baby. Like, they've been doing work still, trying to prepare for this. So have you. But the Seven of Pentacles asks you, based on what is in front of you right now, is it worth it? Is everything, you know, is it worth it for you to put more effort and energy into this? Because I just feel other people, Scorpio. I just feel other people coming in here because of the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is a fight. And it asks you one thing very clearly. So that one isn't worth it. Once you figure out if it's worth it, you'll know. Some of you are going to say it isn't. It isn't worth it. But I'm not seeing an exit or a leaving of this. So, you know, I can't speak to that. That might be your decision to do that. Remember, every future exists in potentiality. This is the path for those of you that are considering this, that are considering standing up and saying something. So once you decide, yeah, it's worth it. And I know that's more Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is, do I fight for this? Do I defend this? This is not around that. This is not about that. This is about the effort that you put in and the results that you're getting from it, the rewards that you're getting for the effort that you're putting into something. Now, maybe the reason that you've kind of paused and stopped and said, I don't know if it's worth it, because you know there's going to be an argument. You know, you've ever met those people that you can say whatever, you can say anything. You know, they can tell you, oh, I like red. And you can say, well, I like blue. But they won't hear that you like blue. They will hear, oh, you're saying I'm wrong for liking red. That's what they hear. And too many people are like that. And it's like, no, I'm just expressing what I like. You said you like red, so I like blue, right? And that's this. So maybe that's why you're kind of seeing this in the future. You're thinking, is it worth it? Is it worth me putting more effort into this? It's going to turn into this. Now you have options with the Five of Swords. It says, pick your battles wisely when this card comes up. Because there's a very ruthless energy behind this. A very ruthless energy behind this. In which, you know, someone is willing to do whatever it takes to get what they're in. Whatever it takes. And, you know, that might be you, Scorpio. I'm not saying that doesn't have to be that kind of ruthlessness. Sometimes it serves us, right? We have an ambition. Sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like the softly approach has been taken. I think the compromising approach has been taken. Now you're kind of looking at what's in front of you and there's something about to arrive. And you're thinking, I put so much effort into this. Is it worth it? So someone says something. Five of Swords. You, right? But have a look at this. If you toe the line, and I think you know this, if you toe the line, she might not have wanted to play with everyone else, right? And then, so she's cut herself now with the swords. Because she tried to, she didn't want to, but she did it. She got hurt. And usually the Five of Swords is the person that leaves with all the swords, right? That leaves the people behind. They look happy doing what they're doing. And that's why I kind of feel it's the case here for you. Everyone else might be happy with it, but you're not. You want to go in a different direction on this. You want to go in a different direction. So look at the advice. It's the bloody King of Cups. And I feel like saying, Scorpio, do you know who the hell you are? Do you remember that you are Scorpio? And I don't mean like grab a knife and go stabbing people, Scorpio. I know that's the kind of, the whole thing around Scorpio being around death and rebirth. But with the King of Cups coming up, he's a king for starters. Like, he's not going to be ruled by his emotions. And I kind of feel like this is coming at it in a very level-headed way. And I'm saying that because of the Five of Swords and the King of Cups. Decide if this truly matters to you. Does this matter to you? Because you are the deciding factor on this. How do you feel about this? What now? All the emotions, good, bad, ugly, and why? Why do I feel that? Because he understands how he feels. But they don't rule him. They don't rule him. His emotions do not rule him. He understands how to use emotions for the betterment of his kingdom, right? He's the emotion. He's the king of all the emotions. So what do I feel? Why do I feel it? And the King of Cups, he doesn't always say how he feels. That's his thing. He doesn't always say how he feels. Now, I want to go there for a moment. Have you been kind of towing the line and just has this been festering? I would say have a conversation. Even if it turns to this, I mean, the King of Cups can handle it. The kings I always see is very diplomatic because they have to be, because they're the kings. They know they will say their piece, but they're not going to. I mean, especially if it's between the King of Cups and the Knight of Wands, the King of Cups trumps the Knight of Wands. But I think it's that kind of level-headedness of like, look, this matters to me. I've put in a lot of effort into this, but I don't like the direction that it's going in, or I don't like one aspect of what's being worked on here, or it feels kind of shoddy, because the Knight of Wands can be all over the place a little bit.